We are live.
We are live. Oh,
Boom.
they're giving us the warning signal.
Right?
A premium account on X is required to create a
Oh,
live
no.
podcast. We will work that out for you, crew. We are on YouTube and Rumble today. We will get X going for you all as well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, crew. You are back live. We doing this on a Monday morning. Dad was in some traffic yesterday, but we'll try to be getting to you guys on our usual time on Sundays at 10. Doing today, Monday at 9. So if you're driving into work, if you are at work already, if you catch this later, hope you're all having a great day. Dad, how are you doing?
Good. I'm getting over the little mess that I was in last week. I'm feeling better. Still clearing my throat, my lungs just a bit, but overall I feel good. I'm down here in San Diego at the boat, and I'll be back on the boat all week. I'm going to shoot some video from the boat. We're pulling the big boat out of the water, so that'll be interesting. I might even shoot some video about that and kind of show you guys what I do, what boats do when they come out of the water. They like their belly scratched, a little bit when you pull them out of the water. Clean their belly off and repaint them up a bit, and then splash them back again. That's about it. We got some big projects going on with that. So it's going to be a big week. Feeling good, feeling like I'm ready for a big week of work. But the market looks better than last week in some ways. I think people are getting used to the volatility. So it's going to be an interesting week, I think. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. We got Fart Coin pumping away as we speak.
Of course.
Big gainer today, 7.5%. Congrats, crew.
Wow.
If you hold such assets.
It's a little frothy, gassy coin that it might be. It wouldn't be on the top of my investment portfolio list, but there's something classic about it. Everybody under 16 owns it. I know that for a fact. Okay. Everybody in high school owns that coin. Period. Well, the guys anyway. We would hope to think the girls are a little more mature than that, but maybe not.
I've never looked to see what their emblem is or their logo. I wonder if it's just a little gas, expulsion, a little tube, if you will.
That could be it. Yeah, or a finger being pulled. Could be. Could be either one of those.
It is all. Yeah. It's all possible. All things are possible, guys. We got a quote for you this morning.
And you have to say that who could have better Super Bowl commercials? I mean, just it's endless where you could go. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. If we hear about a Fart Coin commercial being made and put in a primetime hour, I'm looking at it. I'm definitely looking at it.
That's right. That's right.
We carry you in our hearts. We feel your energy. Greatness that is all human life forms. Once the respect for that is realized, then you do have paradise without judgment.
Wow.
So, coming at you all with some love on this Monday for your week. Not here in this world to judge you, but get to go on this ride and this journey with you. And man, that's how my week's going. I'm just so grateful. lots of opportunities, amazing friendships, in and out of work. Just couldn't have had a better day yesterday, and hope to keep that rolling into today. Dad,
Yeah, nice.
why don't we cook on? Let's talk a little bit about your shows this week. I thought you crushed, bro. It was really cool that I watched the Mel video yesterday. My dad did an interview with Mel Carmine. We know there's a lot of fans of his in the crew. Shout out to Mel. I thought he did a really great job too. I love how candid the man is and how direct he is. And you know, you need those people in any kind of space who
Yeah.
aren't afraid to speak their mind, and they're, you know, very passionate like he is.
Mhm.
I really like the points you both made. You know, when you were backing and forthing, it wasn't an absolute agreement on everything, but it was kind of a 90%. And
Yeah.
you guys kind of expanded the rest of the 10. I really enjoyed it. So if you guys haven't seen that interview, it's a good one. How was it
Yeah,
being with
thanks.
Mel? How was it getting to talk to him finally?
Well, over the years, he and I have, crossed paths a couple times, and as you do, and he and I have I tried to do an interview with him last year at Vegas, and it's just so crazy and absurd. So many people around him and around the whole gang and other people, and just getting him away from the things he wanted to do and the people he wanted to meet, and getting me. It just didn't work out, and in Florida it was such a relaxed atmosphere that we happened to go to the same place at breakfast, a nice little cottage place, and we just happened to run into each other, and he said, we've got to have I got to have an interview with you, period. Let's make time. And I said, well, okay, Sunday looks really good. It looks like a chill barbecue. Let's just go, find a little place, just the two of us. Well, it's interesting sometimes because there was probably, I don't know, 15, 20 people watching that video being made that you can't see in the screen. And it's sometimes you don't know how these interviews go. You're in the middle of them, and you're just living your life and doing the questions, and
Mm-hmm.
as you say, is very boisterous in his beliefs and his opinions, and that rubs a lot of people the wrong way. Me, I'm sort of the more mellow angle. I like to think I like to think less emotionally, and I like to think more long term and what would be the result of overreacting at the moment. So it's a good combination between the two of us. I did get a lot of negative feedback, people that don't like his style, or a lot of people that thought, oh, Alan, well, you like Trump too much, or you like Elon too much, and I think you're wrong about this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's beautiful. That's why we're here, guys. The worst thing you can post under my thing is, I agree with you 100% on everything you say, Alan. That would be the worst thing.
That'd be awful.
That'd be awful. Like, we're not. No, perfect. Okay, great. Oh, well, did you know that Trump did this and Trump did that and Trump's evil and Trump's perfect? That means that I'm presenting something to you that maybe you don't know about the man, and maybe you're presenting something to me that I don't know about the man, and that we're both learning. There you are. We don't all have to be on this tribe or that tribe or this tribe over here. And I thought he and I were pretty clear about, he likes Trump a whole lot more than I do, but I a lot more. And I like Trump, and but I don't like politicians, and he happens to be one right now. So for me, I have to step back and say, hey, wait a minute. You're wearing the politician shoes today. I kind of I like you as a businessman, and I want you to play business with our country. And he seems to be doing that more than any president in recent memory. So in that sense, I really tip my hat to the man. He's trying to make change. Whether or not those chains are adopted or not, I have no idea. I think he means well. I don't think he's trying to get any richer than he already is. I know he gets blamed for a lot of that. That doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. People have a different opinion, and that's great. And I got a lot of those. I got a lot of those comments, and that's perfect. Perfect. Please don't tell me that you agree with everything I say. Please do not do that. Don't be a fanboy of anybody. Be your own self and believe in what you think, because what you think is right. It's not wrong. Because it's your world. It's your walk. I haven't walked in your shoes. I have no idea what your life experience is. So there's not one way to do this lifetime. That's impossible. Right? So yeah, it was good.
Love that.
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend last night, and it's also really important to listen and to allow others to run with what they want to run on. If you don't do that, if you're constantly meeting people with resistance, you put a barrier between you two, and you don't let people exercise it. You don't let them thrive, even if you feel like they have to change or they need to change. That's not up to you. People don't change people. You got to change yourself, and it's I love being reminded of it because so many people help me grow and listen and allow. And I will echo that sentiment as well, though. If you believe everything that I say, I'm concerned for you. I'm genuinely worried, particularly about crypto, and things like that. No, I've been so fortunate to be in this group because you guys remind me of that every single day. And it's so fun to go through the chats, go through the comments, and start to talk to you on the phone and get a vibe of who you all are. And man, we got a lot of people in here that are allowing of love and appreciate it and share it. So thank you so much. Always reminds me to do so. How about Thursday's show, Dad? I loved it, man. I was smashed in the chat the whole time. I thought you really, the idea just of like printing paper. How often do we make that connection that it's like this is probably headed for crypto? They're going to find ways to write laws and make regulations and print money on it and, figure out how they can leverage it and all those different things that they do. What does that mean for the future, do you think, of crypto investing, Dad? Is that where the big, the big market caps come from? Is that in particular?
Yeah, there's a lot going on geopolitically, obviously, but there's also a lot going on in the big macro picture of money. And one of the things, I'm going to come to some conclusions this coming Thursday night, but a little precursor, if you will, cursor of what I'm about to talk about in Thursday night show. I'll get into now. What's happening with the world, in particular in the monetary world, is that we've sort of overused the dollar's not backed by anything real value. We've overused that value. And even to the point where they're trying to cut the budget to try and make money real again, or put more value into the dollar. It's almost impossible because they're so prolific on the face of the planet. These digits are everywhere, and they've been multiplied times trillions. And so they need to cut it back, or they need to have some form of a reset of some kind, a haircut, which is a big deal when you do it. When you're, like I talk about on the show, I lived in Mexico when they did that in Mexico, and they had to do that. It's less of a big deal, should I say, when the whole world does it together, orchestrated, and they all say, all right, we're all taking a 40% haircut on yuan, the yen, the euro dollar, the US dollar. When everybody cuts all at the same time, it has less effect to the little guy. It's just sort of, okay, that makes sense. Everything got cut. We're all in the same boat together. But it really helps with those ridiculous numbers of the $37 trillion that we owe. And it brings that money that you have to spend every day in inflation for the payments of that debt. Well, what I think is going to happen, and what I was leading to on last Thursday's show, is that I really believe what's about to happen is the bond market's about to, it already has, be less relevant or less significant going forward. So when you say, okay, well, if everybody's going to take a 40% haircut in their dollars, global dollars, whatever dollar you have, what do you want to own? Well, you want to own something real. So you want to own precious metals. In my opinion, crypto, the top 2 or 3 at this point. Okay, I'm talking about Bitcoin and XRP, or maybe Ethereum, if that's your thing, or some Solana. I'm talking the top 4 or 5 coins now. If they do a haircut across the globe, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. How are they going to help everybody make money with money going forward? Because it used to be that you could safely put your money in bonds because it backed up the dollars. Well, I don't think the future of what they're going to back the monetary systems on is going to be bonds any longer. It's going to be some form of a stable coin. It's going to be some form of a link to Bitcoin or top cryptos and precious metals, or oil, or land, or I don't know exactly, because I don't think they know yet.
Yeah.
But all of that to say this is a time to DCA. I know we've been DCAing for years. This is not a time to sell. This is a time to accumulate all those assets with these dollars that are about to get a 40% haircut. I don't know when. I mean, they might just evaluate each country, do it within themselves without doing, some sort of join together reset. But if they do, you're not going to want to be in the dollar when it drops by 40% in value. Everything's going to look like it gets cheaper, because you're going to go, okay, well, it only takes this many dollars to buy a trash can now, when it took that many, because everything got a haircut in valuations. But if you're sitting there with a crypto, your crypto is going to go up by 40%, at least.
Yeah,
that's where the smart money is going to be. Smart money is going to be in precious metals, or things of value, and they'll hold it better.
Yeah.
I'm going to really come to some really cool conclusions this Thursday night on a lot of that topic. I hope you guys can catch it. Yes, time to DCA.
We will be in there. Thanks for the comment, Linda.
And let me say one punchline real quick that I'm going to cover on Thursday night's show. The reason why I say that is not just for reset purposes. I'm saying that because what you're able to do right now with your coins and crypto is earn an income. And I'm going to explain a lot of that to you on Thursday night. So it's really big.
You're going to explain it to us?
I'm going to explain it, Lucy.
Thank you, Ricky.
Yeah.
I would like to make money on it without selling it.
I know.
That is the end game here. That is the
I
goal.
told you 6 or 5 times.
Okay, I keep on my crypto. Keep on my
Right.
crypto.
Yep.
And make money.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be Thursday night show. It hopefully it won't be as long and drawn out as last Thursday's, but I'm going to come to some real cool conclusions about the questions that I created on that show. I don't know where I'll be. I'm going to be in the boatyard, so I don't know. Hopefully I can get internet over there.
Yeah. Things here says it's Sunday. And
yeah, it's just Sunday live. Nice. Yeah.
It's it's definitely Monday now. Thanks for the comment, Gary. Yeah, last Thursday was awesome, Becky. That was a really good show. You could tell you were not feeling good, Dad. So the way you articulated it and threw it all together, appreciate the dot connecting, man, because there was a handful of things that I just hadn't thought about in a while. So if you folks haven't seen that episode, the last trust episode this Thursday, sweet episode, Dad.
Trust your exit plan, yeah, on Thursday nights.
Mm-hmm. What time will a Thursday night show air? Typically it's 5 p.m. on Pacific Coast time.
Yeah, 8:30 Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Mud's got a question for us, Dad. Mud, what's up, bro? Do you think XRP hits 50 by the end of 2026? Well, I certainly hope so.
A lot of that is going to depend on exactly what I was just talking about. If they decide to haircut everything and cut it all way back, probably. Yeah. If they decide, we're going to get a bigger boot and kick this can down the road and just put a bunch of liquidity into the market over the next 6 months to a year, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't know which way they're going to go. I don't know which way I would go. I want to talk deeper into that on Thursday, but I am going to say this. What I think they're going to do with the U.S. Treasury, I don't know if anybody knows this, but the U.S. Treasury really just pretty much stayed flat. And yet the Federal Reserve, everything they did was up and down like a yo-yo. This is something that more and more of us need to pay more attention to. So if they exploit and blow up the M2 money supply, 50 by 26, I think is a possibility. I'd say probably 75% chance of that happening. And if they haircut everything by 40%, it'll happen overnight. That will be, there's two things, in my opinion, in the next 2 to 3, 5 years that happen are going to bring a flood to crypto that is going to blow people's minds. First one being, if they decide that crypto doesn't have to pay capital gains tax, you're going to see a flood into crypto that you've never seen anything like it before. Because there's absolutely no reason not to own crypto. There's no, like what's her name mentioned earlier, DCA, because you want to own these assets that are going to make you money. Because they're going to make you money on a monthly income. Well, what's really hard for you to do right now? Okay, you and I have been DCAing for, I don't know, 8 years, this man, right? So your portfolio is already 25,000, $30,000, $50,000. How does the average Joe catch up to you? How do they own $50,000 worth of crypto this year? They can't. They're not going to. This is what I mean by generational wealth. When you're holding an asset like precious metals or crypto, and the valuation of money just drops off the scale, and these things that actually retain value and have destroyed the dollar in the last decade. Like, do I need to remind anybody that I remember when people were laughing at Bitcoin because it broke $1? They were like, what do you mean this digit thing's worth more than a US dollar? That's ridiculous. Do I need to remind you it's doubled that day 85,000 times?
Yeah.
Yeah. That tells you the valuation of holding $1. Like, if you had held $1 in the bank when Bitcoin was $1, today you would have the value of about, I don't know, 60 cents. Or if you'd put the dollar in Bitcoin, you'd have $85,000.
Yeah.
Those are the valuations. Right. What does that tell you? Like, that's simple math. This is not complicated. Yeah. So when XRP,
not only the appreciation data of like how markets and people view this asset, but also the drop off of the dollar and currencies all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the future of bonds, if there are bonds, which is in jeopardy, I suppose. You don't want a world without bonds, but the future of bonds is going to be written in stable coins, but they're going to take, like, if they get $1 million, whatever the number, it's going to be a whole lot more than that, but the $1 billion for a bond, like 10% of that's going to go to purchase XRP, or 10% of it's going to go to purchase Bitcoin. Why? Because a 5 and 10 year time frame for those two things, more than putting 10% of that value into $1. Hello. Like, you don't want to do that. Like, this thing is going to multiply by, the bond is going to be worth multiples of what it was 10 years earlier. So your new bond assets are going to be your solid assets. Bonds backed by gold, bonds backed by Bitcoin or XRP or crypto, the top cryptos. And that's a simple math equation. Because why? They're not making any more XRP, and they're not making any more Bitcoin. So that evaluation has to go up.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. I don't think I answered the question, but yeah, $50, 2026, it could be $500. I mean, it depends on adoption and what we're going to do going forward. Really does.
Yeah.
And what they do to the valuations of money. And I think anybody that tells you they know what the game plan is for the next 5 years, there's a big separation going on right now between Europe and America. And that is really a factor right now. And it seems like Canada's joining with Europe and opposing US. And then, it's like, well, okay, well, good luck with that, but because I've said this before, when's the last time the Europeans did anything for their people? I mean, it seems like the only thing they done is destroy their farmers and told their industrial plants that they can't use natural gas, and they destroyed all their nuclear power plants. And like the only country that actually has nuclear power is France, and they're really good at it, by the way, really good at it. And I don't know why they're not the world's example in it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, because Europe doesn't have any natural resources. They got to do something.
Yeah.
But they're going to stick to that old narrative that has got them nowhere. And I don't know. They're not growing. They're not evolving. They still think that just because they are the bed of humanity, that they think they're still like got all the answers. And I don't know. I don't see it. You know.
We'd like to shout out our followers and fans in the UK. We love you guys, and man, we're rooting for you.
I'm talking about the leaders who are most of.
Oh, I know you are. I'm just kidding.
99% of the people that lead Europe aren't even elected. You're talking about the WEF and you're talking about Brussels. Those aren't even elected officials.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane when you think about it. It's just like, well, what are you guys doing over there? Anyway, and I love the people of Europe. By the way, Brent, you and I are of British descent, so.
Oh yeah.
So what are you going to do about it? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I love this.
What were those two? What are the questions?
First of all, I love the dog. Second, Brad Garlinghouse mentioned that they might be able to pay their fine in XRP.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but that's classic. Thank you for the comment, Becky.
Well, what that does...
Great way to start the stockpiles was clever too.
Yes. Well, it automatically inserts, $50 million in value of XRP directly into the stockpile, which is brilliant.
Yep.
There's something that came out over the weekend. I saw an incredible interview. I was driving. I listened to it. I didn't watch it, but it's big, guys. This is really big. You guys all know who BitChute is, right? And so they're the ones basically. It's BitChute, right? Is it BitMax? BitMax? No, it's BitChute, I believe. Anyway, the one that Tether owns, and 180,000 Bitcoin were seized by the U.S. government. And Tether made all of their clientele whole. So they paid everybody up front and said, hey, when this thing's over, we'll take the Bitcoin, but we're going to pay you your damages because you're out 180,000 Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So what that tells me is the U.S. government, of the 200,000 in which they claim they own, 180,000 of those could be given back to Tether, the rightful owner, who was doing nothing wrong. They just happened to be the middleman when somebody else was laundering money through them. It's going to be a very interesting case, because if that's the situation, the U.S. government doesn't have 200,000 Bitcoin, they have 20,000 Bitcoin. And if you're trying to get to 1 million Bitcoin, that means you're about 120% further along than you thought you were. You're behind 120%, not 100% to get 1 million.
Yep.
Interesting, that right there.
It is.
Very. And all the court cases are sure looking like they didn't do anything wrong. And they weren't the ones laundering money, that's for sure. They were simply the vessel in which the person used. People, organizations used. I want to talk about something here I got written down that I think that's really important for the crypto world that a lot of people in mainstream media aren't going to discuss today. But it's very, very important. Today, Senor Bukele is meeting with Trump today. And of course, lamestream media being what lamestream media is, well, they're just going to tell you that, oh, it's all just about hostages and we got to send people and it's the, I don't know, MS-13 and these gang members in which we're sending out of the country and we're capturing them illegally. And they have all these civil rights and we're destroying their civil rights. That, they have no civil rights because they, came into this country illegally, but that's the facts. But nobody in the media wants to actually face that music. They just say, oh, well, he's deporting all these people illegally. Well, actually, it's not illegal to deport somebody. I moved to Mexico and I had to get a green card. I had to go register with the government. I have a green card.
Yeah.
So you can't just walk in their country and live there. It's like, anyway, let alone get benefits. But I won't get into that.
Mm-hmm.
The lamestream is telling you that's what this whole meeting's about. Well, if that's all it was about, they could do that over a phone, couldn't they? Or Zoom call. I think it's a little bigger than that. And by the way, Bukele already said, oh, yeah, man, if they're my people and if they're from El Salvador, I'll take them. No problem. I built the prison for that. No problem. So where's the discussion? What do they need to discuss in Washington together? I think it's bigger than that. I think it's Bitcoin. I think it's crypto in particular, but I mean, Bitcoin for sure. And the media won't talk about Bitcoin. Media will not talk positively about Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys have noticed that.
Yeah.
And the previous prime minister, I believe they are. Yeah, they are. In the UK, a lady came out and said the most destructive thing to the banking system is Bitcoin. That tells you right there she's a globalist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have globalism or the West hating Bitcoin. Christine Lagarde every week is telling you Van der Leyen, whatever her name is, she's telling you the same thing. All those people are globalists and they want to control the world through global rules, through unelected officials, with the printing of money in central banking system. They despise Bitcoin because Bitcoin is a decentralized, limited amount of value that they cannot reproduce. So pay attention to the countries that believe in crypto because they're going to excel in the future. I think that's what Bukele is doing there. I think he's meeting with a whole lot of crypto people is what I think is going on. Anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm a theorist.
You need, I think it benefits to bring in someone like him who's had to manage a country and who's adopted Bitcoin and made it legal within the country. I think it's even more interesting for the U.S.
Yeah,
and I hope
he's
they
also,
listen. And it's like, hey, man, did you guys think of this?
Yeah, and he also had to deal with the IMF.
Yes.
So when he started borrowing money again, because why wouldn't you borrow fake digits to buy real assets, which is what he's doing? They slapped him on the wrist and said, oh, no, you can't just buy Bitcoin with this. And he said, well, yeah, that's what I plan on doing. And here's my wallet, by the way. By the way, talk about how open that presidency is. You can look every day at their wallet. How many Bitcoin they buy every day.
Yep.
Talk about open and honest. This is what I'm doing. This is what I did with the money, citizens of El Salvador today.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty incredible. Yeah. Let's also go back. This is a great story. I'm going to try and tell it quickly. Way back when. Okay. There's a guy who's a co-creator of a coin called Divi. He was in a meeting and they asked him, Jeff is his name. And they asked Jeff, hey, what's going on over there in El Salvador? And he said, well, it's pretty interesting, but I have a different story that I need to tell you. He happened to be in Washington, D.C., and he was flying to El Salvador with a group of people because he was one of the people invited to El Salvador to like, hey, help us figure this out. I want to say this is 2021. Help us figure this out and how we can use this whole thing, right? He got on a plane. He's sitting next to a guy, and it's a direct flight, evidently, to El Salvador. And the man sitting next to him, he says, hey, so what do you do? Oh, I work for the State Department. Oh, well, why are you going to El Salvador? As well, I can't tell you that. It's government, and he doesn't know who Jeff is because Jeff's like, oh, yeah, I work in crypto, da, 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 da. Well, they both get off the plane and they both end up at the president's palace, Bukele's house or the palace or whatever it was. And they're both in this room with like 40 or 50 people. And evidently the way the story is being told or presented way back in the day that I was listening to, he'd had a couple of drinks, this guy in the government, and he basically told Jeff why he was really there. The reason that he was really there is because they're in DC, they're scared to death. They're like, what is going on here? This is a US dollar economy. Okay. By the way, El Salvador uses the US dollar equivalency. A quarter is a quarter, a dollar is a dollar. They have different pictures, but that's how they do it in foreign countries. If you've ever been to one that adopts US dollar, that's what they do. Mm-hmm. The denominations all look basically the same, just different pictures. So they're like, he's like, what do you mean you're concerned? And they're like, oh, we're very concerned that this might be a very successful endeavor. In fact, we have trillions of dollars in debt concern over how this Bitcoin thing might just succeed. And that's the reason why he was hired by the State Department, is to go to these meetings to figure out how far along they really are and how close they are to making this thing surpass the usage of the US dollar within there. Ever since that day, he's had the fight from the IMF. No, you can't use it on the streets anymore. You can't buy and sell with crypto Bitcoin. Everybody, the media told everybody in the public, oh, Bukele quit doing it because it's not successful and he's not able to use it with his people. Actually, what happened is the IMF told him, well, we're not going to give you the loans anymore if you tell everybody they can use Bitcoin in the streets.
Well, Dad, I thought at the time, weren't the loans predicated on them not using it? Like, I thought they had rejected that deal from the IMF.
No, they not in the beginning.
3 years ago.
Not in the beginning, they weren't. Remember, I don't know if you remember me telling you this. I said this about Argentina like 6 or 7 years ago. If I was Argentina, what I would have done, I would have gone to the IMF and said, I'll take what's the biggest loan I can get. I'll take that. And I would have run out and bought Bitcoin with it, with at least half of it. Why hasn't every country done that? Because every country doesn't have the nerve to fight the IMF or the central banking system. Mm-hmm. But look where Argentina would be today had they done that when Alan asked them to do that 6 or 7 years ago, when, I don't know, Bitcoin's $3,000 or $4,000. They would be out of debt entirely. Yeah. Like it's like, and everybody knows that. You don't have to be a mathematician to explain what I just said earlier in the video. It used to be $1, and now it's 85,000 of them.
Yeah.
You might want to get on that train. I don't know.
A multi-trillion-dollar market now. What happens when that go up?
Right.
Countries are able to pay off debts.
That's right. And the platform they're going to use to do all those transactions is Ripple. It's an XRPL. That's becoming more and more obvious to everybody in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw it. Mikkel sent me a video he did Friday, I think. God, it's brilliant. It was so good. I was just like, yes, that's what we've all been saying for I don't know, as long as we've been doing this channel.
Yeah.
Essentially, I'm going to sum it up like this, the way I'm going to redo that video in some sense in the next week or two, because it just, my mind, I wrote like 10 notes down. But essentially what Ripple has become is like the Microsoft of computers back in 1995.
Mm-hmm.
This is the way I'm equating it, and that's not what Mickle said. This is the way I'm putting it is, if you think about this, they have the staff, they have the people, they have the knowledge, they have the computers, they have the software, they're writing better software, they're creating this whole thing, and they have this perfect utility, but they have the staff to walk into a bank that has no clue what a crypto is, or a layer one, and actually using it. Think about that. Think about how big that is. That's so big. Sorry guys, I gotta move my camera because it's in the sun and it's overheating.
Oh boy, she's a cooking.
Yep. So that's what they're doing. They're taking the corporate way of doing things and bringing it to every ma bank in the world and saying, this is how you do it. Here, let's make it real easy for you. And it's brilliant. You know, that's what Microsoft, that's what Windows 95 did, is all of a sudden everybody in the world had it.
Yep.
Yeah. That's how I looked at it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
That is where we're at. The hardware. Hardware is going to be a big jump. Making the ability to make payments day to day, and really people's awareness to be able to do that. Another big, big jump. The creation of these ETFs, the fat cats getting in. I mean, the more I was talking to Legend this weekend, and it was just like, I was like, dude, I got off the phone with him, and I just texted him back and was like, dude, we're winning. This is winning time, starring me and you. No, we lost Pops. Much love to you, Dad, if you can still see us. Crew, thank you so much for being in the chat today. We got the professor in the house. We got Linda. We got Thanks Gary. We got the XRP Renegade. We got Becky. We got Atlantic. We got Tomato Pete, Bobby G, World Be Free. We got Grace. We got Crypto Nerd, Mud. Thank you all for being in here. We got 58 of you. So thankful to have you guys on the show and in this community with us. Dad and I will be back on Sunday coming up. We're also going to be, I'll be in a live chat with him on Thursday night. Look forward to seeing you all there. Dad's got to run the boat. I'm running to a job interview here in a bit, and we're going to let you guys go. Enjoy your work day. And yeah, love you so much. Oh wait, he's back. He's back.
Sorry guys, my phone overheated.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird too, because it's not even that hot out. Well, we got to shut this thing down anyway.
Yeah, I was all but signed off there.
Oh, were you? Okay.
Yeah, but we're glad to have you back.
Well, let's just kind of remind everybody. I'd like so many other things I wanted to talk about today, but that's okay. We'll get to them Thursday night or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, then let's get out of here. Don't forget Thursday night show. I think it's going to be a barn burner, and I'm also going to release a video I shot this morning. I'm going to release that Wednesday morning, I believe. Should be good. It's kind of on what I was just talking about. Should be fun.
Love
I think
it.
you'll all appreciate it. Very XRP centric video coming out Wednesday morning.
Awesome.
Tuesday night for you Patreon members. Yeah, because you guys get it commercial free first, which is a good thing. And we really appreciate you guys. We know we don't get as much content in there as we'd like, but you guys do get every show before we post it anywhere else, commercial free. So, and this channel probably wouldn't exist without you guys. So,
yep.
Let's call that what it is.
Thank
Okay,
you.
B-Man, before this thing heats up on me again, we'll try and get out of here.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks for the good wishes. I hope Long Arrow, good to see you. Crypto Nerd, appreciate the comments. David, always good to see you. Nancy, bye. Love you guys. Be good. Have a great rest of your week.